about our mission statement.
Thank you. So, how do we generate revenue? That was the question of Facebook, right? And that was the question of Twitter. How do we generate revenue? And all social platforms. Well, we are an online social gaming company. And we have approximately 1 billion plus users, unique users worldwide. And the way that we generate revenue is by selling virtual goods, mobile game download fees, which if you would recall from a few previous classes back, we discussed that depending on when you launch a app, you can charge a rate, or you can release it as a freemium, in which case you have revenues through other sources, such as selling virtual goods. And then, of course, advertising sales. You have a captive audience on these games. So I know I spoke to Naomi, who said she was a Farmville addict for a while, and
Trivia crack now.
Well, okay, so I'm sure you know somebody that's been a Farmville addict or a gaming, mobile gaming addict. So in order to get virtual currency, you would click the Watch Now ad to go ahead and receive that virtual currency. Well, we know how to monetize that. We take advantage of that, and we benefit. Okay, so looking at our timeline, we were founded in 2007, and we started off with a Texas Hold'em game, and here in the great state of California. And in 2008, we were the leaders and the first to provide or sell virtual goods, and we expanded our virtual good sales concept to other games. And might I just add, because we are in California, of course, we have a close connection to Facebook from the get-go. And so in 2009 is when we were really sort of seeing the peak, or seeing, significant growth in social media and social gaming. And we were seeing, Facebook realized that we had value by offering these games to keep people on the Facebook platform. So they started sending, those notifications that was basically game spam, I'm sure you all remember that, just getting overloaded. And then in 2010, we opened our first international location. We had an agreement with Facebook where basically 30% of our revenues would go to them for using their platform. And then we also had the first third-party large ads roll out and extended our mobile gaming. Now, 2011 was an exciting year for Zynga. We had all of this growth, and we were at a point where we were ready for an IPO. And we started out at about a $9.40 stock price, and in 2012 we decided that with some, I'll get into more detail, but we decided to revise our agreement with Facebook. And in 2013 and 2014, we really pushed a greater interface using our specific API and started real money gambling. So now, Ray spoke of the unicorns for the game, for the mobile and social platforms. And I know that Supercell was listed as our top competitor. However, they are a privately held company, so we are not going to compare them here. EA and Activision are two companies that some people like to put into our camp of things, but in reality they have a broad product offering, more towards console gaming and toys, or a diverse product offering, so it's like comparing apples to oranges. But Zynga and King, you know, they're fairly close off in comparison to an extent. So you have to go with what you have, right? And I just would like to point out that in 2012 we had this peaking, and then this was right around, you know, we had growth initially, and then the 2012 timeframe was when we had the turbulence with the Facebook IPO and how that there was a lot of market volatility with you know, the valuation of Facebook, because 30% of their revenues was coming from Zynga. And so we went through some turbulent times there, and we ended up you know, shortening our ties with them. So now, what value do we have? Well, Zynga currently has 28 active games, and in comparison to King, who has 12 games, and Supercell, that has 3 games active today, okay? And the big point that I want to make on this is that you only need 1, 2, 3 games to be the big dog. And so, if you were to look at the comparison of Zynga and the amount that and the strategies that we use to try to get that next big game, compared to King and Supercell, we have a more aggressive approach, okay? And King has, this year we have 6 to 8 new releases, and King doesn't have any on the gamut, as well as Supercell. They're sticking pretty solid. Okay, so for our online gaming revenue mix, Ray had spoken to the fact that we're increasing our slots and gambling, real money gambling, and our revenue is going up, you know, quarter over quarter for the most part. So, but the big thing is that the slots have increased to 26%, and we have a greater focus on the games that really provide us our highest revenue. So in Q2 of 2014, we had a lot of overhead with the bigger games, or with a bigger quantity of games, and we've streamlined and had some closures or cancellations of games to go ahead and strengthen our revenue mix. And specifically to that point, there are user metrics that we have that are standard for the industry. There's the most significant metric that we see is the average booking per daily active user. And what this